Welcome. Tonight is Thursday, so this is Table Talk Thursdays, Facebook Live event with me, Elyse Ann Psychic. I am the Psychic Liaison, Bridge to the Unseen. And as I'm waiting for those to show up, I know sometimes there's a little bit of lag time. I wanted to let you know a little bit more about me. This is not the only weekly live that I do. I also have on Wednesdays. Hi, Shield, welcome. I also have a live on Wednesdays. Hi, Leslie, welcome. Hi, Michelle. I'm doing well, Shield. Thank you so much. Well, I'm so glad you guys are joining us. And as you arrive, let me know you're here. Say hi. And yes, all is well on my end. Thank you so much. Um, this is Table Talk Thursdays, weekly live event. Tonight, the topic is connecting with our loved ones who have crossed over. Being the holiday season, Spirit really encouraged me that this was a great topic for this evening. I do know that holiday season, we're missing the ones that we love that are no longer here with us. And so I wanted to share tonight some of my experience and knowledge. I'd like you guys to share with me your experiences, any questions, curiosities that you have concerning the topic. Again, I am Elyse Ann Psychic, the Psychic Liaison, Bridge to the Unseen, and we are here. Thank you, Leslie, for sharing. Hi, Monica and Thelma. You're missing mom like crazy, Leslie. Well, I'm so sorry for your loss there. And I'm sure, everybody's wondering how. Hi, Desiree. How do we connect? What do we do? So let me just start a little bit with some general information when it comes to mediumship, connecting with those who have crossed over. And again, this is an interactive forum. So I want you guys to go ahead and make some, give me some questions, general questions. Like I said, these are not psychic readings tonight. Um, that is on my Wednesday lives at 11 a.m. every Wednesday. That's Arizona time on Mountain Standard Time. So Leslie did ask, I saw a black shadow and was wondering if it was my mom. Well, let's get back to that. Leslie, if you don't mind, I want to just do a little bit of an overview here, you guys, because I know a lot of people have a lot of curiosity about the subject. And, the first thing I really do want to say, I have so many ideas and so many things I want to say. So I made a few notes over here because as I go into the space, um, so many things come to me. My guides tell me all kinds of things, so I make notes. Um, just so you know, the other side, as we say, it's all about unconditional love. Okay. So I want you to know that from the very, very beginning. A lot of people also, they ask me, are they okay? Are they okay? And Monica says, I work for hospice. I see people pass away. Sometimes I feel their energy even afterwards. Absolutely. Yes, that does happen. Again, it's unconditional love. And gosh, they, our loved ones are always communicating with us, whether we realize it or not. And they're always around us. Okay. And that's how they communicate. When I say they communicate all the time, they're always around us because it is the unconditional love that connects us. And they will communicate in all kinds of different ways. The thing is to remember that you too can communicate with them. Hi, Carissa, welcome. You don't have to wait for them to come to you and give you a sign or wonder if they're around you because, like I said, the unconditional love just so connects us that they are. And they're around us all the time. Lots of times, you may be more aware or believe that they're there only when you're in times of maybe distress or sadness. Um, they may come through more at that time, but they are always, always around us. We have a bond of universal love, connection, and that never does go away. I've had clients ask me so many different questions in general about these. Hi, Josephine, welcome. about those that have crossed over. And so if you have any curiosities, please go ahead and put it in the comments. I'm here to answer questions too. I'm here to hear your experiences. I've had a lot of experience. Both my parents are passed and other experiences I've had with family that I'm going to share some tonight. But one of the biggest things I think that I keep being brought back to by my team is, are they okay? I get asked that a lot from clients. Not only am I a psychic, I'm also a medium. So those that have crossed over do communicate with me. I communicate with them. And our pets. Also, I am an animal communicator, and many times they will come through after they have crossed over. But again, just because you've seen somebody on this side suffer, which of course our heart goes out to, or they struggled with walking or breathing, or however they may have suffered, a lot of us here on planet Earth think of them in that regard and wonder if they are still suffering. And no, they are not, because they are free of the physical. Hi, Marty, welcome. They're free of the physical body, so they are not suffering anymore in that sense. And Monica says, my grandmother from mother's side always comes through dreams or warns me about some situation. She makes her presence known. And yes, thank you for bringing that up, because dreams is a really huge way they do communicate with us also. That'll take me right into, and we are going to jump around because that's what this is all about. We're gonna share experiences. We're gonna answer questions. I'm gonna look at some of my notes that I want to make sure that I share information with you guys. But when it comes to dreams, I call them visitations, okay? When one of our loved ones shows up during our dream state, that is a visitation. How do you know it's a visitation? You're probably asking yourself, well, how do I know? How do I know that that's really them and I'm not just dreaming them up, okay, so to speak? You'll always know a visitation when it's as real can be. In other words, in that dream, they're right there, right in front of you. You see these faces and you see their face. There's no mistaking. It's as if they're on this planet Earth with you. It almost has that same look and feel. Excuse me a minute. April, hi, good evening. Actually, this evening is Table Talk Thursdays. I do it every Thursday. It's a Facebook Live where we discuss and share about different metaphysical, spiritual, and inspirational topics. So this evening is not about readings. My weekly live that I do my psychic mini readings is on Wednesdays at 11 a.m. Arizona time, which is the same as Mountain Standard Time. Um, and so a couple things with that before you go, April. I'm hoping that you'll stick around for the topic because you're not here by mistake. So I'm hoping you'll stay. But please, everyone, go ahead and follow and like my Elyse Ann Psychic page so you'll receive notifications of when I go live. I have the 2 weekly lives, and you never know when I might pop on here and there. Just make sure your notifications are set properly, either as favorites or default, because otherwise you may miss some of the notifications. So, April, I hope you'll stick around and join us in the conversation. And thank you, Monica. Yes, I do the lives, the weekly live that is set every week is on Wednesdays. Thank you for that. Okay, so, and I see, Leslie, your question. Give me a minute. Let me go back to the dream part. I've had my both of my parents show up in my dreams. And how do I know? It's, again, the face is so clear. It's so clear as if they're standing right in front of me. The other way that they can come in and do visitations, I had this happen with my mother. She actually yelled at me to wake up one morning. And so I know there was something going on for me physically. And I remember I was asleep and I heard her call out my name and I knew it was her. It was her voice. And I'm like, I'm sleeping. Well, she yelled a heck of a lot louder and got my attention. There's no mistaking that was her. I heard her voice. It was so clear. So remember, clarity is what's going to help you recognize whether it's a visitation or you're just dreaming. Hi, Christy. Welcome. I just want to take a moment with all the fresh faces showing up. Welcome to the weekly Table Talk Thursday live event. This week, again, we're talking about how to connect with your loved ones who have crossed over. And every week we do a different topic. If you have any ideas on topics that you'd like to hear about and join in on, go ahead and drop it in the comments here for another week that I'll do that topic, or you can always direct message me. So, okay, let me go back here. I want to make sure I saw a couple questions in here. Why do you always see your mom sick all the time? Leslie, what I'm going to say to that, and I hesitated for a moment because I was listening to my team. My spirit team's always with me. They're always guiding it, channeling information for me, or to me, I should say. It's not, this is an answer that's not specifically about you and your mom. This is a generalized answer to your question, is that it has to do with your own fears. It's not a criticism in any way, Leslie, because these are our loved ones, and we're heartbroken and saw them suffer, and we have loss, and so we tend to, as human beings, worry about them. So I believe that you always see you're sick all the time, because there's some energy projection on your part. So just remember, like I said in the very beginning, and this is great for the new people that are joining and popping in, and please say hello as you come. In the comments, say hello. Is that they're okay. Once they've left this physical body, this physical world, they are back in their true authentic self, which is our unconditional loving spirit. So I want to say that's probably why you see her that way, because you're kind of still connected to what happened with on the physical plane here. Hi, Deanna. Welcome. So glad you're joining us. And Genevieve, hello. Um, okay, so Genevieve, this evening, we are not doing readings this evening. That's on Wednesdays at 11 a.m. Arizona time. That's Mountain Standard Time. Tonight, I hope that you'll stick around though. And we're doing Table Talk Thursdays. It's every Thursday at 7 p.m. Arizona time, where I talk about different metaphysical, inspirational, and spiritual topics. And it is an interactive forum. So, as you can see, Genevieve, people are putting comments in. You can ask questions, generalized questions on the topics. So, okay, Genevieve, I'm so glad that you joined us this evening. Hopefully, you'll stick around. And again, hopefully, I'll see you on Wednesday also for the readings, the mini psychic readings. Okay, Leslie says, "How can you fix that?" Okay, and that's a great question for everyone, because I know that we get very worried. This is our love. These are people we love and still love. And so I think really, I don't, I almost want to say it's simplistic, but I'm not saying it's simplistic because there's emotions involved. But really, the simplistic answer to that is to completely understand and know that they are no longer in that pain or that suffering, my dear. And hi, Kristen, welcome. And so, really important, excuse me, that you understand they're no longer suffering. So I'm going to say what my team is telling me here, my spirit team, and again, I'm answering Leslie's question, but it's for all of us, is we can send love and light. We can ask our angels to comfort not only yourself, but your family member. And just really know that when we do leave this physical world, this physical body, there's no more suffering. There's just no more suffering, no more sickness. We are in our pure form again, which is spirit, unconditionally loving spirit. So I hope that helped you with that question. Okay, Thelma says, I often dream about people fighting and me always hiding and waiting for them to stop and leave. All right. And so, Kristen, I'll get to your question in just a moment, dear. Okay, so Thelma, that to me is excuse me. Need to take a little water here. That to me is actually some of your fears working out. Unless in those dreams, it's as if these people are right in front of you. Like I have said, I will see my dad show up or my mother show up, and it's as if we're looking at each other right there in the physical world. It's not faint. It's as clear can be. So I think there's a difference there in the dream that you're talking about. Um, that I think has to do with some of your fears. Unless, you're the one who knows. If somebody shows up as a visitation in one of those dreams, then do your best to really pay attention and focus. And when you wake up, write down what you remember them saying, what you saw in the dream, because that'll be a message. They do give a lot of messages through dreams. And sometimes just remember when I say that, keep in mind that um, sometimes it's just them showing up is the message itself. So in other words, they may not say anything. They maybe just be standing there. Um, and if that is the case, it's really a sign to let you know that they're there, they're around you, they love you, they want to comfort you. Again, lots of times so happens that they'll come uh, and communicate and connect with us when we're in times of need, when we're feeling alone or stressed or what have we. So hold on a second. Let's see. Kristen says, do you do channeling? Well, yes, I do. It's a whole different uh, ball game, if you will. But yes, I do. I do channeling. And then you're asking me, could I contact your Uncle Joe? He passed away. Okay. So, Kristen, the general answer to that is yes, we could connect with Uncle Joe. However, this evening is not readings. My psychic mini readings are Wednesdays at 11 a.m. This evening is a weekly live Table Talk Thursdays. We talk about different subjects and topics, inspirational, metaphysical, and spiritual topics on a general basis. It's here to share information, share experiences. It's that's what tonight's about. So I hope you'll hang around and just stay on with us on this live. And there'll be lots of fun information coming through. And you're welcome, Leslie. She says thank you. All right. So the other thing when we talked about are they okay? Um, Lots of times we think of those that have crossed over, we remember them as they were in the physical world, right? They're an angry person or they were a very sad person. And lots of times clients will ask me, are they still angry? You're welcome, Kristen. Are you still, are they still angry? Are they still sad? The same goes with the emotions. Okay. When I say the same goes with the emotions, same as the physical. Once they leave the physical earth out of their physical bodies, they're not in that space anymore. Okay. Because they're again back into pure spirit, unconditional love. Now, let me say something with that. Because when I do mediumship, when those that crossed over will come to me and we do mediumship, I connect with them to give messages to my client. Excuse me. They will show up, at least the way they work with me is the type of person they were when they were here on the physical plane. Okay. And so that might seem a little confusing because they may come across upset or angry, but it doesn't mean that they're still that way. What they're doing is they're showing up in a way that you know them so you can confirm and validate that that's them. And then we go on to the rest of the messages. I just want to let you know that. And so you didn't the other question, and Michelle, I'll get to your question in just a minute. Um, Sometimes family members will come through and I'll do a reading for a client and their grandmother will come through and they'll have messages and they'll say, the client may say to me, well, I didn't even know them. Like they passed when I was very, very young, or, the great grandmother might show up and you never met them. And they say, well, why would they show up? I mean, I don't even know them on earth. Why? Why? Because it's the bonds of love, the bonds of family love, generational love. They don't need to, you did not need to know them on this physical plane for those bonds to still be there and be strong. So they will show up all different family members, friends. Let's talk about friends or close. people that you were close to. It's not all just about your loved ones that are family. It's anybody that you had a connection with in this lifetime. I've had, a neighbor show up and they're like, but maybe you were that kind to that person and they want you to know that you made the difference. You were the one person who checked up on them once a week or what have we. So it's important not to like put labels on it or expectations, if you will, when it comes to why are they coming or why are they communicating. Again, it's pure unconditional love. Michelle asked, do past family members find each other? Such as dad passes and then some passes, do they find each other? Yes, they do. Again, it's the bonds. And that's why many times more than one family member will show up when I'm doing a reading. It just depends. But yes, they do find each other. Again, it's the unconditional love that bonds. It's our soul family, if you will. And so yes, many, many, many lifetimes, you guys, many, many, many lifetimes. So the other, I hope that answered your question there, Michelle. The other question that I get asked a lot is how soon after they pass can you connect with them or can they connect with you? And we're going to talk a little bit later in the live about how you can have them connect with you, how you can put out your requests, if you will. Okay. But how soon after passing? Well, it depends. Usually you can connect with them shortly after they pass. Just depends on the circumstances. It depends on their soul. In other words, I've had it where sometimes some doesn't happen often, but I'm working on connecting with a particular person. Like my client comes to me and says, I want to talk to Aunt Betty. So we see if we can bring Aunt Betty in and she'll show up. Sometimes every once in a while the energy is not strong. Doesn't mean we can't quite connect. I've never had it where I couldn't connect at all, but it just depends somewhat on the circumstances around their passing, how much healing, if you will, of their soul, because it's all about us learning and healing through this lifetime, and then elevating in order for us to ascend more and become more, yeah, ascended, I guess, for lack of a better way of putting it. Um, Perfecting our soul more and more. So it also, depends if, again, what type of passing. Sometimes if it's tragic or sudden, sometimes the soul won't cross over right away. Okay, and so it just depends. That's why lots of times as a medium, I'll send them to the light because they'll come to me searching. They'll communicate with me. These are sometimes, souls that I don't know, but they know that I'm open, and so I can help them from a loving space to guide them to the light because sometimes it happens so quickly or tragically they're really kind of not aware that it's occurred. Some people will call those the poltergeists. It really is just they really want to connect and find a way home, if you will, which is to the white light. All right, so let's see. Let's see. I got two comments here, Christy and Jackie. Because I think I got, yep. Okay. When my grandma, mom, and dad all died 2 months apart from each other last year, I'm so sorry. Someone told me they were a spirit family. What does that mean? Okay, Christy. Good question. I'm going to answer that question for what I understand it to mean and what I would interpret it to mean. I can't really answer for that person exactly what they were intending. But from my perspective, as somebody says something like that, I believe I would go back to that comment that I made about being soul family, generations of souls that are connected, that have lived up lifetimes. Okay, it looks like I might have just lost my live. I don't know. Can you guys see me? Can anybody see me or hear me? Because all of a sudden, sorry, we're having trouble playing this video. Just popped up. So, can anybody tell me if they can see me? Because it looks like maybe not. You can. Okay. Let me know if I disappear, you guys, because I'm not getting any kind of video of myself. Okay. But I can, obviously, you guys can hear me. I can see your comments. So I'm going to continue, but let me know if I disappear. Okay. I don't know how else to do it, but I'm not usually I can see myself, as the video. Okay, so Christy says when my grandma, okay, we went, okay. So the Spare family, which by the way, Christy, someone's saying hi. It was no mistake during that period that we were saying it, their collective strength. They wanted to let you know that they are together and they are around. And again, tonight isn't about personal readings, but I needed to bring that up. It was beautiful because that is a way that spirit can communicate with us. They do things with electronics. And I'll share a couple stories of my own. Okay, so again, spirit family. We are a soul family. We tend to reincarnate many times over with the same family, soul family. So it doesn't mean that every time you reincarnate that your brother's your brother or your sister's your sister. It just we will switch positions, but we have a collective agreement that we're going to help each other grow our souls and ascend our souls. So I hope that answered your question on that. Jackie says, hi, if someone is missing is known to be held captive and it is unknown if the person is deceased, would you be able to help the family find or talk to the person missing? um Usually that can be done. Jackie, what I'm going to say to you is if you want to direct message me, um, and we can go from there on that. Okay. Usually people can do that. Yes. Let's go ahead and have you contact me separately and we'll do that. And thank you everybody for letting me know that you can see me and you can hear me. So now that Christy's family decided that they were going to jump in on the live, let us know they're here. It's a great segue into how do they connect with us and how can we connect with them? Let's start with that piece. Um, you First of all, I've had clients say to me, hey, tell them I love them or I'm thinking of them or I hope they're okay. And the first thing out of my mouth usually is, okay, but you can tell them that too. And they're like, really? Yes. They hear you. They feel it. They know it. And so you can do that. Um and Morgan, I'll be with you in just a minute. You're welcome, Christy. Um, and so you can request though also to be given a sign. And I did that with my father. Just remember, you might want to add under grace and in a perfect way, easily and effortlessly. I debated whether to share the story because wow, was it like it was shocking to me. But I remember this goes back over 20 years ago. And after my father had passed, and I was a mother of two very young children. They were at school though. And I remember asking my father, I just knew he was there in the house. And I said, okay, Dad, I know you're here. Send me a sign. And all of a sudden, now my kids have been at school over an hour. Okay. There's a reason I'm telling you that. Now, some of you may remember the robo dogs where they would, okay. Some of you that you may be too young to remember that, but they basically were some of the first, more of the first electronic type things where it would talk by like barking in an electronic way. Okay, so house is completely quiet. My kids are gone for over an hour, and I just knew my father was there. I felt it. I felt it. I felt it. And I said, okay, Dad, I know you're here. Give me a sign. Well, let me tell you, he gave me a sign because all of a sudden out of my daughter's room, that robo dog barked and I nearly hit the ceiling. I laugh because it's funny, but it's not. It scared me, even though I'm psychic. I was not expecting it. So they, electronics is a really huge way that they can communicate with you because they themselves are energy, and electronics are all about energy. So your family showing up and taking away my video brought me to that spot. But I also want to let you know other ways they can communicate. And again, you can connect with them. You can ask them to give you a sign. That is another way that they will communicate and connect with you. Let me see what Morgan says here. My dad passed of cancer in 2018. I'm so sorry for your loss, Morgan. It was very fast and he was really sick. I rarely remember my dreams, but most of the dreams I've had about my dad, he is very sick in them. Is everyone different with this? Um, Morgan, no, what I'm gonna, everyone isn't different with this. I addressed this a little earlier, maybe you weren't here, but that's okay. It's obviously needs to be mentioned again. I want to say that the fact that you're having these dreams where your dad is sick, look, as human beings, we're upset or it's hard knowing that our loved ones have suffered or taken away from us very, very fast, and we worry about them. We worry about them still. It's a human condition. And so I feel that that's really your emotions being put into your dreams. And it's okay, honey. It really is okay. These are real heartfelt emotions. But what I want to say is when they are on the other side, when they have crossed over, they're free of the physical. They're free of the physical world. They're free of the physical body. And so they're pure unconditional love. So they no longer carry those illnesses or sicknesses or suffering with them. Okay. So I wanted to answer that for you. And then, Christy, I totally did that with my dad the other day. And wow, I knew it was him. It was chilling. My cardinals outside my windows, something crazy signs with mom too. So crazy. Yes. Christy, they do it with, you said the cardinals, birds. They do it with birds. They do it with insects. Some people know that hummingbirds are huge for giving signs that a loved one is around. And again, remember that with that, let's say you had a special something with this person. Rainbows, hummingbirds, red balloons, a peach, whatever it is, it could be very mundane. You can know, you're welcome, Morgan. She said that was helpful. You're welcome. And this is for everybody again. Know that with that, if you had a special connection on something with that loved one that's crossed over, you can ask them to give you that sign. Hey, if you're around, let me see a peach, for example. Okay. Now, remember, when you ask for the sign, it doesn't mean it's going to happen instantaneously like it did for me. It could take a little bit of time, but relax with it and know because that it will show up. They'll let you know because the thing is when they connect with you or you're asking them to connect with you, um, that takes energy on their part, and some souls are more evolved than others. And so, depending what you're asking them to, what sign you're asking them to show up with, if you will, um, excuse me, it depends. It may take them more energy to create it than other signs. So just be patient on that. Just because they don't show up right away or you don't think they did, they've heard you. They're just working on getting it to you. Um, my father also, he loves electronics. So um, he has turned lights on and off. Some people have told me, TVs, radios. Um, the other thing is That's right. I wrote a few things that my father, my mother shows up in different ways. My father is very, almost, for lack of a better way of putting it, physical with it. I'll never forget after my father passed. I laugh because I'm like, Dad, don't be mad at me for sharing this. Let's just put it to you this way. Um, my father and his shoes. Um, freshener. Let's just put it that way. I'll never forget walking through my living room one day, and I'm walking right by my love seat, and boy, oh boy, I got hit hard. And smelled my father's shoes, and I went, "Whoa, Dad! Okay, you're here. Woo! Thank you." So they choose all different ways, and lots of times they're choosing certain ways because they know you're more open to it. Um, I also had it with an uncle of mine that I was not very close with at all. Was we knew he was passing away, and before I even got the call, I knew he had passed because again, I was in my home. There was nobody else there, and we had a big patio door with blinds, lengthwise blinds, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it was a and I went, okay, he passed. Um, I asked myself in some ways at the time, why did he come to me and tell me that? I wasn't really close with him, but again, the family bonds. Okay. And also, he knew I was receptive and open to that. So, Jackie says, when you say some souls are more evolved than others, what do you mean? Some souls have had more lifetimes, more experiences than others. They've also evolved further in the sense of ascending, understanding situations more. It's kind of hard in some ways to explain it because it's not our 3D world, but that's what I mean by soul. Some souls are more evolved than others. I hope that answered your question there. So I'd love for you guys to share in the comments some of the ways that your loved ones have communicated with you. Because again, this is about sharing our different experiences. We can learn from each other. Another way that spirit loves, oh, those that have crossed over really love to leave coins. That's a biggie. That is a biggie, biggie, biggie. They love to leave coins, and sometimes it'll be the year of their birth. It'll be Jackie. Okay, I see. Year of their birth, the year that maybe they passed. It's just a little way of them letting you know they're communicating. They're here. They're around you. Another way that some people have said they've experienced is if let's say a partner has passed over, they may see the imprint in the bed. It's not something to freak out about. It can in the moment, like I said, when my father made that dog, woof, I hit the ceiling. So yeah, but I'm trying to reassure you that, yes, we'll have our human reaction to it, but to understand it's all about love and just getting your attention. So Marnie says, before my dad passed, he told my sister he would put deer in our paths. He flooded my sister's town with deer. Like the whole parking lot at the grocery store was filled with them to the point where the point where it makes the local paper. Ooh, this went on for years. I was afraid of driving in the woods. I'm sorry, it's not funny. That they would run out into the street. I finally thought to tell him to stop it, and he did. Okay, Marty, that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. So, with that, yes, that's a beautiful thing. It's bringing up like four different thoughts here. So let me start with the first one. If you have a loved one that you know is crossing, you have the opportunity, talk to them about how you'll connect after they have passed. That's perfect. Your father said, okay, I'm going to send deer. He knew exactly how he could communicate with them. He knew what he was capable of ahead of time, and he knew to tell them so that they would connect it right away, right? And you wouldn't have to guess, oh, was that him? Was it him? Now, the other thing is you were afraid of them running out into the street. I get it. I get it. So I'm glad that yes, you can ask them to stop, to come up with a different way of communicating. We do have a right to have that conversation. It's not disrespectful. It's not, oh no, can't do that. No, you can do that. You have a right to communicate and talk with them, just like you would have, a chat with them as if they're sitting right here. Now that brings me, and Thelma, I'll get to you in just a minute. And that brings me to another piece because um Materializing is another way they can show up. That means we're like their full body. Here they are. Boom. Um, I know my father's working his way towards that. I knew it from the day he passed. I've told him so far, even being a psychic, I told him so far, I'm not ready for that because I don't know. I'm getting a lot closer to being okay with him doing that. But you see, he hasn't done it yet because I told him, I really honestly don't know if I could take it. I don't know if my heart would just blah. I mean, because I'm human. Okay. So, yes, I'm psychic too, but I'm also living a human being life too. So, there too, I'm saying, just like Marty asked her father to, okay, let's stop this before somebody gets hurt. I've been able to say to my father all these years, like I says, over 20 years, I'm getting there, Dad. I am. I'm pretty close, but still not quite there. And he's honored that. So, and that's why he shows up in my dreams a lot or does more of the other physical things to get my attention and to let me know that he's around. Um, and sometimes too, he just kind of flashed it to me, reminded me that I talk about visitations and when their face is very, very clear, that means that it is a visitation, not just a dream. You see them as if they're right there in front of you physically. Doesn't always have to be in a dream either. A couple weeks ago, I was having a rough day. And I all of a sudden I just felt him and I saw as if he was, his face just was so clear that I knew that he was telling me he was there. And I was really I was awake. I wasn't dreaming. I wasn't sleeping. So I'm just telling that to you, just in case you have that type of situation, you know that that's okay too. It's nothing to be afraid of. Um, so let me see. Thelma says, give me a second, guys. Oh, Thelma, my mom passed away when I was 3 months old. I'm so sorry for your loss. And I remember when I was younger that I had dreams of a lady in all white, like an angel, always coming in my dreams. I've not seen her in person. All right. So um, more than likely, yes, it's going to be your mother, someone in your soul family that's letting you know you're not alone. And lots of times, you guys, like I've said before, that's where it occurs that they want us to know we're not alone. We have a support system. We are loved. And when you say all white like an angel, I don't know if they had wings because if they actually had wings it is actually an angel. Um, and angels are celestial beings. They have not had a physical life as a human being. But like an angel, that's an added piece. The all white is calm. Usually we do feel comfort by a vision like that. So, yes, absolutely. The thing I would say to that, Thelma, to really confirm, hi, Eva, welcome. And to really confirm, you can go into your heart center, your gut, so to speak, too, and ask yourself, is this my mother? And you should, depending on what you feel, you should feel positive or you should get a yes or a no. But do it from feeling, not from the headspace, okay? So Christy says, my son's toy train goes off by itself. Well, yeah, they're manipulating it. They're manipulating the energy, excuse me, to get your attention. And again, electronics, they are themselves energy. So that's the easiest for them to manipulate. That's why it happens that way. It may be kind of freaky for us on the earthly plane, but yes, that tends to be one of the easiest ways. So let's see. Eva says, I've had numerous dreams of my parents and siblings with me doing things, mainly cultural activities in our village. The dreams are vivid and feel real. Nothing scary or sad. We're always just together. What does that mean? Um, so I'm going to assume from that comment, Eva, or comment question, that they're not all crossed over. But what that's going to tell me is those of your family that are in those dreams that are crossed over, are connecting with all of you at once. And so it feels very real. And you see all of them. It's reminding you of the family connections. So I'll say that to me, and this can happen for anybody, where it's not just that one that's crossed over, but other people will be there too that are still on this planet, that are still alive. It's just showing you you're not alone. It's showing you the family connections. It's that feeling of love and connection that they're communicating. So I hope that helped you with that question, Eva. And Christy said, my sister and I were having a conversation about my parents last year. Oh, sorry, I'm putting my hands over my mouth. My sister and I were having a conversation about my parents last year in the car, and my mom's song came on. We went to a restaurant 10 minutes later and sat down, and the song started playing again. I told my sister, what is mom trying to tell us? Absolutely true, Christy. Through songs. And not only loved ones communicate that way, but our own guides, our own spirit team will communicate that way too. So how do you know if it's like your general spirit team guides or a loved one? You When it comes to the loved one, there's going to be usually some significant connection, like, oh, that was their favorite song, or their wedding song, or sometimes the other thing is, if your family member that has crossed over, your loved one that's crossed over. And again, we keep concentrating on loved ones, but friends and colleagues, I mean, other people that we had good relationships with too can come and communicate. We can connect with them. But sometimes it's where, let's say that that person who's crossed over had a favorite saying, and you hear somebody else saying it, and you're like, oh, well, then you know that that family member, that loved one, is there communicating, giving you a message, communicating with you through that other person. Now, that other person isn't going to necessarily know. I mean, someone like me, I'm a medium, we're doing a mediumship reading. Yeah, okay, we're going to know. But other people play a part in this too. They're not aware, but they do. So, very cool, Christy, very cool. Thelma, no wings, all white clothes like a dress. I truly believe it's her. Then there you go. And that's a beautiful gift she's given you over and over, that, that she's around you. She doesn't ever want you, to feel alone. And all of our loved ones, that's the way they feel. They don't want us to feel alone. They want to share their unconditional love. And sometimes too, um, a loved one can come through and you can heal some things. I've had loved ones come through to me to apologize, to shower me with the love, and I can feel it. Their way of apologizing. So there's some healing that can happen also. Now, again, you can connect with your loved ones by talking to them, telling them what it is you would like to say to them, and then looking for the signs out, being aware, not looking, but being aware. There's a difference. Don't be, searching for the signs, because that kind of gets in the way, but be aware that when the sign shows up, that it's there. And in other words, you can also ask your spirit team to help you be aware that, when that sign shows up, just make sure, under grace and in a perfect way, easily and effortlessly, always add those words, that you will be consciously aware that that is a sign. Um, and again, don't let it scare you. Some signs, might be a little like, woo, a little bit more than others, but it's just the way that either, A, they feel they can communicate best with you, connect best with you. B, it's the way that you're most apt or open to receive. Okay. And sometimes I can tell you, you might go, whoa, was that really? Well, yeah, it was really. If you even have that instantaneous connection and even think to ask yourself, whoa, was that them? Well, then you know it was them. Because on the physical plane, sometimes it's a little shocking or really, really attention grabbing, which is what they sometimes need to do to really get our attention. So it's not to scare you, it's not to make you frightful or fearful. It's just to get your attention so you know they're there. Some will mess around with pictures. Some will be mischievous and move things around. And again, maybe that person was a jokester in on the physical plane when they were alive, and that may be how they will communicate with you from the other side. And I say that because lots of times their personality, even though they're a soul now, we've lived many lifetimes, they're going to communicate their information or messages to you in a way that you can connect the dots, if you will. So if your uncle was a singer, he may sing, but if your uncle wasn't a good singer, they're not going to come across necessarily with this beautiful voice, because it's a piece to help us recognize, okay, that this is them. So remember that piece for yourself. The other thing that, excuse me, numbers, they can work with numbers. If they have a favorite number. And then Carlos, hi Carlos, they threw your journal at you last night. Uh-oh, knock it off, get your attention. Well, they're telling you time to journal, keep journaling, right? I mean, they'll do that. That's out of pure love. That's out of pure love. They threw it at you. Oh, want to hear that story? That's great. Thank you for sharing that. Numbers, maybe they had a favorite number. Maybe there was a significant number for the two of you. The other thing is sometimes you may get a flash of like flowers. I mean, all kinds of different ways that they show up. And also, I mentioned very quickly earlier about pets, animals, once they cross over. They can communicate also. I had one of my, hi Carlos, nice to meet you too. Thank you. And I haven't mentioned it, but you guys, please follow and like my Elyse Ann Psychic page. You'll receive notifications of when I go live. I do this every Thursday. And I also have a weekly Wednesday live psychic mini reading event at 11 a.m. Arizona time, Mountain Standard Time. We are the same right now. Just make sure your notifications are set for either default or priority. I don't know. There's two of the choices there, because if you don't set it at one of those two, I think the top one's the best one. It's the three dots and it drops down. You may miss some of the notifications and you may miss the lives, or some of my other important posts. I don't inundate people, so don't be afraid like I'm going to hit you 30 times in a day. That's not who I am, because I don't like that myself. So, okay, going back. Um, talked about I started talking about our loved ones, our furry friends, or maybe it was a reptile or whatever. We all have our pets that we love like family, right? They too communicate. It's not just, those that have been in human form in this lifetime. I know, gosh, she passed a long time ago, but one evening I was in my room and I could hear the scratch on the door. She didn't always do it, but I knew it was her because it was so distinctive. And that is another way that they let us know that they're around. So, does anybody have any other questions in general, or a comment or something that they want to share of an experience? And remember, as I'm waiting to see if anybody has something more to add, again, they're going to communicate in a way that you will be able to connect the dots, that it's them. And excuse me, you can also, again, you can have conversations with them. You truly can. And you can talk to them and receive certain, you can ask them, hey, like I did with my dad, if you're around, give me a sign. Now, I didn't ask him specifically what sign, and that's why he chose that. But you can say, hey, if you're around, drop a feather in my path. Now, remember, it's not going to necessarily be instantaneous, okay? But pay attention for the next 24 hours or so. Coins are a big one, like I said, music, all different ways that they communicate. And really, it's all about the pure, unconditional love that we share. We share always, whether we're in spirit or we're human. We are connected by lifetimes and lifetimes and lifetimes and generations. We are soul families, and we do it for the pure love of each other. And sometimes that may be hard as living on this planet Earth. Especially nowadays. It's a tough run in some ways, but always remember that we are surrounded, completely surrounded by unconditional love, always. So, folk, set into into an awareness to be open to receiving that and knowing, it's not always in our times of need. It can be other times too, but always know whether you feel you're noticing the messages or the connections, or whether you feel they are answering your requests or not. Always know 1000%, no doubts, complete sureness that they are around us. They are there to comfort us, to let us know we're not alone, and to remind us over and over and over again we are unconditionally loved. So, with that, everyone, thank you so much for being part of the live tonight. I always have such a blast with this. I hope again that you'll follow and like my Elyse Ann Psychic page, and come and see me next week, Wednesday and Thursday. Wednesday again is the messages from your spirit team with me, Elyse Ann Psychic. And those are free one card readings that I do on Wednesdays, 11 a.m. Arizona time. Thank you, Christy. You're welcome. And then Table Talk Thursdays. I'm going to be doing the next 2 weeks. Then the 2 weeks after that, we got Christmas and New Year's. So those are going to be 2 weeks I won't be doing it. But please join me for the next 2 weeks. And if you have any any requests of topics that you would like me to discuss and share about, please let me know. I'm here to help you guys. I do this to help you guys. All I want to do is help. Sending lots of love to everybody and blessings. And whether it's morning, afternoon, or evening by you, have just a blessed time. Thank you so much for being part of the live tonight. Good night.